made you choose to live a life of a homeless person?
Yeah, kind of an interesting idea, huh? And an interesting question. Well, thanks so much for your encouragement about the book. Yeah, so Under the Overpass is the chronicle. It's the story of Sam's and my journey as intentional homeless people. We chose to step into the life of homelessness for 5 months and then chose to step back out of it. We were college students at the time, and we wanted to better understand what it means to be homeless. We wanted to better understand what it means to be a human being made in God's image, trying to survive on the streets, having to panhandle in order to get enough food to eat, having to beg in order to be able to buy whatever you need to eat on that particular day. Wanted to find out what it means to have to sleep underneath of a bridge in order to stay out of the weather. Wanted to find out what it feels like to be despised and outcast simply because of what you look like on the exterior. And, this all came about because I was claiming to be a Christian. I was going to a small Christian university in Santa Barbara, California. I was going to a good church. I was a regular church attendant. I was helping out with the youth group, et cetera, et cetera. But when it came right down to it, I basically realized that I wasn't loving my neighbor as myself. When I saw someone who was in need, I would walk by on the other side of the road. I would pretend like I couldn't see them. I would pretend like they were invisible. And one Sunday in a church service, the pastor was challenging us and asking us, do you walk this thing called the Christian life, or do you just talk about it? Are you known to be someone who actually embodies what it means to be a follower of Jesus, what it means to love God and to love your neighbor? Or is this just a nice, comfortable idea for you? Is it culturally acceptable, and therefore you just fit into the category of Christian but don't actually have a living faith? And that hit me right between the eyes, and that was the start of this idea to become homeless. Yeah, one of the main objectives that Sam and I had was to just experience firsthand what it's like to be homeless. We wanted to enter into the homeless community. We wanted to see from the inside and experience from the inside. Another thing that we wanted to do is to build community with men and women and children who were on the streets. We wanted to know who they were, why they are there, what keeps them there, how they're able to get off of the streets, etc. We felt that an experiential sort of research would be one of the best ways of getting at this. One of the other questions that we had, one of the other primary objectives, though, is we wanted to see how the church responds. We wanted to see how Christians respond. Not just one church in particular, but the capital C church, the body of Christ, the whole group of us who claim to be followers of Jesus. How do we respond? Now, we expected to find some people responding with great compassion, the way that you and I would hope that we would be responded to if we ourselves fell into difficult situations and into dire straits. But we also found that many people were behaving as I myself had behaved previously to this experience, prior to this experience, and not actually loving their neighbors as themselves, as I myself had failed to do, not actually loving my neighbors as myself. So, that was one of the primary things we wanted to do, is ask, okay, the scriptures are full of God's heart for the poor, for the outcast, for those who are disenfranchised and those who are dehumanized. Jesus preaches a message of compassion and love and of unconditional acceptance of a person. Not unconditional acceptance that leaves them where they are, but rather that is transformative. And are we, as Christians, proclaimers of that truth? Or do we set up these weird structures about what you have to look like, what you have to smell like, what kind of money you have to make in order to be a Christian? We wanted to ask some of those kinds of questions. And, it was a fascinating and very eye-opening experience.